The house was too quiet. Desert air drifted through the broken window, carrying the smell of gun oil and copper. A kitchen chair lay on its side, still rocking slightly, as if someone had just been there. I followed the trail of dust prints to the back door. They stopped at the threshold. Outside, the sand was smooth, erased. On the table sat a plate of untouched food, a cold beer sweating into the wood, and a note folded in half. It wasn't addressed to anyone. Just 6 words in slanted handwriting. You can't catch what's free. The handwriting matched the letters we'd seen before. Same pressure points, same arrogance. Danny Ray Horning had been here, minutes ago. I didn't say anything. I just watched the desert stretch into nothing and listened to the silence. That kind of silence that follows a man who doesn't believe he can die. We started with the stolen vehicles, a trail of discarded shells across 3 counties. Each one abandoned cleaner than the last. No prints, no fibers, no mistakes. Horning wasn't improvising, he was testing us. Every report that came in, a carjacking, a farmhouse break-in, a hostage released unharmed, felt like another move on a board only he could see. I studied his letters again. They weren't taunts, they were instructions. Follow the road north, you'll find what I left behind. We did. An empty map case. No fingerprints, but one faint boot scuff on the asphalt. Same tread pattern as the day of his escape from Florence prison. The Bureau called him reckless. They were wrong. He was deliberate. Every lead took us deeper into places where law didn't matter. Dusty towns where loyalty was traded for silence. He knew the desert better than we did. He knew fear better too. And every time I thought we were closing in, another call came in, another hostage, another car gone, another note left on a kitchen table. He wasn't running. He was leading. 56 days in, and I stopped sleeping. Every sound of tires on gravel sounded like him. Every motel door felt too light, too easy to open. I started seeing his patterns where they weren't. An exit ramp, a gas receipt, a road sign turned slightly to the left. Logic began to fracture under repetition. The team wanted speed. I wanted silence. Horning didn't react to pursuit. He reacted to attention. So I started thinking like him, cutting communication, traveling alone, tracing his choices backward from impulse to memory. That's when it began to click. Every place he struck, every farmhouse, every road, circled the same region. Not random, home territory. He wasn't just running. He was orbiting something, someone. When I pulled the old files, the pattern turned coldly human. Horning's brother had lived here before prison, buried nearby, murdered years ago, unsolved. Case closed quietly. This wasn't a manhunt anymore. It was a pilgrimage. We found the proof buried in a safe deposit box under an alias he'd used before the bank job. A photograph of his brother, handcuffed, bloodied, beside 2 deputies. Same 2 names that signed off on Horning's conviction. Revenge was never the point. It was correction. Every hostage, every theft, every escape route, all orbiting back to the place where his brother died. He wasn't running from justice. He was rewriting it. I didn't tell the team, not yet. I needed to see how far he'd go. When we finally caught up to him near Winslow, he didn't resist. Hands up, calm, almost satisfied. He looked at me and said quietly, "Now you know why I left the door open." He wanted to be found here, where it began, where they killed his brother and buried the truth. He'd turned the state into a confession. In the briefing room, I laid out the evidence, the photograph, the signatures, the falsified arrest report. No one said a word, just the hum of the fluorescent lights overhead. The men who'd signed off on Horning's conviction sat across from me, pale, motionless. They knew what was coming. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. Horning killed for his own reasons, I said, but you're the reason he ever learned how. The files went to Internal Affairs that night. 2 badges suspended, 1 resignation. No glory, just paperwork and silence. Horning was returned to custody under heavy guard, 4 life sentences, no parole. He never spoke again. But in the hall, as they led him away, he smiled. Small, almost private, like he'd forced the truth out of the world with his bare hands. The case closed itself, but it didn't end. It never does. Some nights I drive past the old highway where we found him. The sand still moves over the tire tracks, filling them like the earth healing its wounds. I think about what he said, about freedom, about truth, and I realize he was never wrong about one thing. We don't chase justice. We chase proof that it still exists. He found his. I found mine. And somewhere between them, in the silence after it was over, I understood something I wish I didn't. Justice was never about mercy.